Worksheets suck, in my opinion. But if you don't like this one, don't worry, don't give me a thumbs down. Just pretend you didn't hear it and move on. Hey everyone, today I'm going to be bringing you a video all about time-saving tips for brand new teachers. I feel like you get into the classroom and you have these ideas and notions about what it's actually going to be, and then you get bombarded with so much things to do and you have like no time to do it. And so I feel like these tips that I've provided you are going to help you a lot, especially in your first year. I remember when I was a brand new teacher, it was 5 years ago, and I was teaching first grade, and I remember walking into my classroom and I was supposed to come in 30 minutes before the kids came in, and I was supposed to stay 45 minutes after the kids left. And usually, like now that I've been in education for a little bit longer, that was quite a bit of time that they allotted for the teachers to stay in the classroom without any students being there. And I thought that it was such a small amount of time, and I still would come in 2 hours before, and I would still take all this work home, and I'd be working on the weekends. And I just remember at that time I was having a lot of fun. But not everyone is as crazy and cuckoo as me. I know us teachers love to do things for the classroom outside of the classroom, but there are some teachers that actually want a life, they want a weekend, they have families, they want to spend time with their families. And this is kind of where I am right now in my life. I want to spend time with my family, with my baby and my husband. I want to go to the park with them. And so I feel like if I take a lot of work home, it's not going to be as enjoyable as it was when I was younger. So these may be helpful to you. These may be like totally like, no, you're not going to be able to do any of them, but try to pick one. If you have one of these items in your tool belt, I feel like you're going to have a little bit more time to like do other things. Number one, whatever you do, if you like to work, if you like to put in, or you need to put in extra hours and you don't know how to cram it within that 40-day work week, my best advice to you is to come in during the morning. Like I remember any school, anywhere I am, I need to come in the morning because that's when the campus is completely dead, it's silent, and I get to actually do work without being interrupted. And I'm more focused because I wake up and I have a mission, a goal, and I need to accomplish that. But when I like go on throughout the day and I have my preps and then I have after school, I feel like there's so much more like sociable times, like where teachers come over and they want to know how your day went, or you go over there and you just want to kind of veg out because you're like so tired throughout the day. And that's why I feel like mornings are so much easier for me to work, because that afternoon or like and after school activity, like the planning that I do, well, it's completely non-existent. I don't plan after school. Usually what I do is tidy up and try to get my room ready for the following day. But most of my planning, most of my like work where my brain needs to be focused, my lesson planning, my curriculum planning is all done in the morning. So try it out. You might actually get more done in the mornings. Okay, so for my next tip, I'm going to actually introduce something to you that I do every single morning while I enjoy my cup of coffee in the morning or on the weekends, whatever it is. I create a top 3 priority list of things I need to complete in the day. Usually it's just, since it's such a short amount of items on the list, just 3, you get to actually focus on those items. And if I don't complete those 3 items in the day, then usually I'll start worrying. But because it's only 3 and they're like my main priorities throughout the day, once I complete those 3, I feel so much better. And I don't know if anybody out there is a list creator or a list maker, but I love my list and I love to check items off my list. And so hopefully this will be a easy tip. Do not go past 3 because things usually get added onto our lists, and so it's easier to just focus on the 3, knock them dead, and then move on to the next day. And then you could probably create like a non-priority list and add to that list, but focus on your top 3. Okay, tip number 3. When I was in the classroom, I actually had the students help clean the classroom like with me. So at the end of the day, we had 5-10 minutes and the students knew exactly what needed to be cleaned, wiped down, where the chairs needed to go, where the tables needed to go, where the markers were supposed to be. So they took ownership of the actual classroom and the materials themselves, so they knew exactly the locations of where they were stored. And so if you're one of those teachers that likes to hide away markers, crayons, whatever it is, think about possibly opening it up to your students and teaching them where to access that material and where to like turn it in, and to where to clean it up, because it just makes your day as a teacher so much better when you know that you're not in charge of cleaning up their mess, because they are the ones doing all of that mess, doing all that work, doing that learning. And so make them clean it up. It'll be better for you. You'll have more time to knock those items off your list. So the next one is kind of a biggie for me. I learned this in graduate school, and it has to do with student work and where they complete their work and how they turn it into you. If you are the type of teacher that likes to have a lot of worksheets, I'm not knocking worksheets, but think about if you're giving out worksheets, you also have to collect the worksheets, you also have to grade the worksheets. So is that possibly the best way you can assess their learning? Is there any way else you can assess their learning throughout the lesson or after lesson where you don't collect worksheets? Can you have them work through interactive notebooks where they have one notebook throughout the year and you get to review their work? Can you create a online, like, what is it called? I just created a video for this. It's called the oh my gosh, what is it called? The online portfolio for the students. That's what it is. I just created a video for it, and I did this the last year I was in the classroom, and the students actually took ownership of their work, and they took photos of their work and they uploaded it to their online portfolios. And maybe that's an option. It's less paperwork for you, less grading for you, and it's going to provide more authentic kind of assessments as to where the students are, and you're not going to have as much time dedicated to those darn worksheets. Okay, let's say you do have to grade and you need a grading system. Where do you put it? I've tried the workbooks, I've tried the grade books, I've tried the teacher planners, I've tried Engrade. It's like this web-based, it's called Ngrade. It's where you post all the grades online. But I found that the best possible grading system that I could have for my class was Excel. And so Excel is one thing that I put up a lot of effort from like the beginning. And my brother did teach a lot on how to create these formulas, how to make things look pretty on Excel. He's an accountant, and so he uses Excel all the time. So he taught me how to use it, and it's so basic. And basically you put in your students' names and then their grades, and it does the averages for you. You don't have to worry about adding up the numbers yourself. You just have the columns set up. So my next tip is actually, it's one that I do enjoy, and I didn't at first think my students would buy into it, but it's the morning work. When they first walk in, I thought that they would want to solely eat breakfast and socialize with their friends at their tables. But when I actually introduced morning work and bell work, they were so excited to have something to do while they ate breakfast. I guess it just relieved some anxiety based, like they knew what they were going to be doing in the classroom. And while they did that, I actually had time, like 10-15 minutes, to take attendance, to prepare my whatever I had to do for the class. I set up on the table in front of me, and this extra 10-15 minutes in the day was so powerful for me, just because it allowed me to breathe. It allowed me to prepare things in a way where it would make sense to me throughout the day. And it's so much easier when you start your day with the kids and you don't have to teach from the very first moment. Okay, this one might hurt some of those teachers out there, but I have so much love for you, and when I watch your Instagram pages and your classrooms, I'm in awe of how much work and dedication you put into your classroom decoration. But I'm going to preface this by saying your students may enjoy the decoration so much, but is it a little too much time you're putting on the decoration versus the curriculum? Because I feel like teachers that do put in so much effort into the decor of the classroom may already start the classroom and they feel kind of burned out, or they feel like a train ran over their body because they're so tired. I feel like thinking about that question is which one is more powerful, or which one, like let's say you do want decor, because I know I love a decorated classroom as well, very simple and minimalistic, but I still like it decorated. Think about that trade-off, like what least amount of work you can put into to make your classroom look nice, because you are going to be tired throughout the days, and you are going to want to do curriculum planning earlier than later, because if you're doing all your classroom decorations in the summer and in the beginning of the year, you're going to be left with doing curriculum on a day-by-day or a week-by-week basis, and that's always so difficult. So think about the possibility of putting like a pause on your classroom decor and actually focusing on the curriculum. And what I did was create bulletin boards that were great throughout all of the seasons, and then I would keep that classroom theme for maybe 2 or 3 years, so I wouldn't have to worry about it. But if you don't like this one, don't worry, don't give me a thumbs down, just pretend you didn't hear it and move on. This one is a huge biggie. Create a classroom that is not spontaneous. You know when you're teaching math, reading, science, whatever it is, you know when you're teaching those subjects, and it's not just, oh my God, you come into the classroom and you don't know what you're going to be doing throughout the day. You don't know when you're going to be doing it. And when you have those questions in the air, you spend so much time already worrying, and you spend so much time doing the daily configurations of your schedule that you could have used for other purposes, such as planning, grading, whatever it is. And so in the summer, take some time, sit down and create a weekly schedule. I can share with you what I had last year. Create a weekly schedule where you know you're teaching English throughout these days and these times, math these days and these times, and have that accessible to you either by your desk, and of course create a calendar, and hopefully it's the same throughout the day. Hopefully you don't have too many changes, because it gets you kind of conditioned, and the students conditioned into going through the routines, and so you're able to put in more in the curriculum, and the students are able to take more risks because they're not worried about when they're doing something, but they can focus on, okay, I'm doing math, I'm going to focus on math, and here I'm going to tackle this, because they know when math is coming. Okay, my last tip is going to be something that I try to practice, and it is respond to emails as soon as you get them. Respond to tasks as soon as you have them. If you're asked to turn in something to the office, do it that moment. Get a student, turn it in, because if you don't do it that moment, it's going to go into the one moment when I'm free pile, and then that's going to turn into the oh my gosh I forgot pile. Do it as soon as you can. If you get an email, check it quickly. We have access to internet all day long, and so do that. So I hope these tips were very helpful to you, and I hope that you get a lot out of them. We as teachers already have so much going on in our classrooms, and it's already so stressful to be a teacher, so hopefully these tips will alleviate some of that stress, and you'll be able to do time management a little bit better. If you do any of these tips or anything beyond these, please leave it in the comment section below. I would love to see what you're doing, and I love you all, and have a great week at school. Bye.